مساء الخير الناس الكل. نتصور توا نبداو الحصة. اليوم عنا المحور الثالث من درس الإنجليزية مع سي بسام رحموني. إن شاء الله تلقاو الإفادة بإذن الله. تفضل سي بسام، البرتاج عندك ونبداو الحصة بإذن الله.
Okay, welcome. I would like to welcome Mrs. Sarah, Mrs. Raja, Mr. Karim, Mrs. Huyam. I would like also to welcome all you, my dear students. So this is the session number 4. We are going to deal with the module 3. And we are going to go through 5 lessons. I'll start with the first lesson. So the father of PlayStation. Okay, I would like to start first with a quote. And of course, you know that module 3 is about creative, innovative minds. And let's read this quote together. I fear the day when the technology surpass our human interaction. The world will only have a generation of idiots. So this is said by Albert Einstein. So we are going to go back to this quote again to discuss it more or to find out what's meant by the last part. It's going to produce a generation of idiots. We are going to find out how is that. So this means that we are going to start by talking generally about technology. And I think that you've already dealt with this in the 3rd year, but it's good to remind you of it because it's already something very important to deal with before we move on to talk about the PlayStation itself and its and the lesson itself. So of course, last year we dealt with something that revolves around the topic of technology, generally speaking, whether it is a blessing, it is something that harms, that affects negatively the humans or human life, whether it is blessing, it helps or it helps us in our life, whether it is a curse, where it is an evil or something that harms our lives. So of course, when we talk about technology, we always think about something very, let's say, basic, which is saving time and energy. This is the most important thing why people or why minds create things. It's to save time and energy. These are the basics. Then it helps us to communicate better. And here in the era of communication and technology, where it is used to teach like what we are doing now, and to communicate with our people from around the globe, it helps us to develop better learning methods. Of course, applying technology in the educational field, and here we talk about educational technology. There are new jobs thanks to technology, and it gives opportunities to people like YouTubers, bloggers. So these jobs didn't exist 10 or 15 or 20 years ago. So there are more job opportunities. It creates dependencies. So this is something that really harms the human life, where we all depend on things we cannot even calculate. So this is the negative part. So we do not even have the ability to calculate the simplest equations. Why? Because we all rely on our mobile phones. We all rely on technology. We just use it to save time, and we don't know that it is already affecting negatively our capabilities to think. So this is something negative. Here we are moving to the part where technology is a curse, where it harms. There are problems related to privacy. So here, when we talk about technology, when we talk about social media, things like that, it really harms our privacy is at risk. And there are different, and I think that you already know, there are so many problems related to privacy when it comes to WhatsApp or Facebook. So these are some things to consider. It creates social divide, where the rich people got access to technology. However, so we talk about people, we can also talk about countries have access to technology, whereas the poor countries or the poor people are not. And here there is a big divide. It creates divide when it comes to access to technology. Of course, health problems. This is something that everybody knows. The health problems related to the use of technology and addiction to technology. And most important thing is that it reduces human efforts. So here people will rely too much on technology. They are not innovative anymore. They just rely on the AI or the artificial intelligence instead of relying on their own intelligence. So this is, generally speaking, technology, whether it is a blessing or a curse. So the topic or the title of the lesson is the father of PlayStation. Why did they choose this word? Why the father? Why it's not another word? And here when we say the father of something, we can also say the mother of something. So it's both correct. But here we are talking about a man, but it's also correct to say the mother of something. For example, Marie Curie is the mother of radiation because she was the first person to discover radiation. So she is the first person to do that, and that's meant, well, that's what's meant by father of something. This means that it began, or he or she began something new, or for the first time. And it is something important, of course. And here we've got some examples. We've got Galileo, for example, Galileo is the father of modern science. Aristotle is the father of biology. Carl Linnaeus is the father of taxonomy, and so on. And we've got here our man Ken Kutaragi, who is the father of PlayStation. And of course, by talking about Ken, let's introduce the man. So he is Japanese, and let's read his introduction. He's introducing himself here. He says, I'm Japanese engineering technologist and a businessman. So he's a technologist and a businessman. He is also the former chairman and CEO of Sony Computer Entertainment, which is the video game division of Sony Corporation. We know that Sony produces so many things like mobile phones, TVs, but this man, Ken Kutaragi, was the first one to initiate or to pioneer the entertainment, let's say, division of Sony Corporation. And of course, he is from Japan. So I've got here a number that we need to focus on, and I think it's very important when we talk about technology, when we talk about PlayStation here, which is 2,000,000,069. So what's this number? You may say it's a big number, yes. So this is the number of people who use game consoles in the world. So whether or playing games, and the gamers, generally speaking. So this is the number of gamers around the world. So it's a very big number. So we are talking about 2.69 billion person using the game consoles, or playing games somewhere, whether in their mobile phones or on their consoles. And of course, when we talk about gaming and game consoles, we cannot talk about that without mentioning the PlayStation, which is the most, or the number one game console. So here when we talk about game console, we talk about also Xbox and Nintendo Wii, which are the two other types, but PlayStation is the number one, is the most, or the best, or the most selling, let's say, company, which is Sony here. I've got here about, some statistics about gaming platforms, or big gaming, or where people play games, or where do they or how do they play and spend their time. They use their PCs, they use their browsers, sometimes they play with browsers, consoles, tablets, and mobile phones. As you can see, the largest or the highest rates are for consoles and mobile phones. And I know that so many of you are playing Free Fire and PUBG games. So you are also part of the statistics, but let's concentrate on the game consoles. So here, when we talk about 31% of the whole number of 2.69 billion people, so there is a lot of money, and that's why PlayStation is one of the most, let's say, one of the best sellers consoles in the world. Good. it's gaming. So what are the benefits? So a lot of people always think of that gamers or games are nothing more than a waste of time or energy. So especially parents, they always think that when you're playing, you're doing. So there are so many arguments about the bad effects of gaming, like violence, like, or I don't know, obesity, like health problems, lack of communication. So we all know this, but we don't really think, or sometimes we neglect the positive part. So when people or teens play games, they will read. So here is one thing, one positive thing about gaming. So they read, they are reading languages, they are listening to languages, so they are learning here. They also learn to solve problems. Yeah, they are facing problems when they play and they try to solve it, like chess or any other game. They are socially connected, and this is seems to be a bit strange, because sometimes people think, no, when you are playing game, you are in your own room and you are not communicating. No, you are communicating, but with other people using your mobile phone or your game console, because now they are already connected to the internet, the PlayStation or the Xbox. So you are communicating. So here I take the example of Free Fire, where many people made friendships through the game, and there are people married after. And there is a famous, I think that you saw that on TV, where there was a couple who married and they were both addicted to Free Fire games. So you are not socially awkward, as the men say, as the boy says here. You are socially connected. Also, we learn to be patient, because some games needs a lot of patience. Imaginative, you'll be imaginative and creative. And here we talk about games like Minecraft, where children are going to create their own world and they are going to imagine things and create personalities. So there are a lot of things to create there. You can also get money, and we said that gaming now is, people are getting a lot of money from technology, like YouTubers and bloggers, but gamers also are getting much money, and they are also getting fame. There are so many famous people thanks to being a gamer, just because they play games and they travel the world around. So you also can design strategies. Of course, here when you are playing, you are going to design strategies, so you are learning how to design strategies, and of course you are going to learn from your mistakes. So these are the positive parts related to being a gamer or playing games with PlayStation or any other games consoles, because we know the majority of the negative sides, but we tend to neglect the positive part. Okay, for one reason or another. Okay, we are going here to focus on some vocab related to the lesson. As I said, Sony is one of the greatest companies who produce games console, and it is called, and as the sentence says here, Sony is the giant of game consoles thanks to PlayStation. What does it mean to be a giant? So giant here, as the word suggests, something big, something huge. So it's in size, of course. So here when we say a company or someone, even a person, is a giant, so he's a very big size or great force. He's gigantic, huge. Okay, so here you can also use this word to talk about, I don't know, fighters, for example, boxers. We can talk about that. We say he's a giant, or he's the giant. So this means that he is great. He's always winning the games. He is the best at that, the best in that field. And here we're talking about Sony, which is a company. It's a giant, means it's very, very famous, and it is the number one. That's what's meant by giant. Kutaragi envisioned the huge sales of his console. So in the past, I said Sony used to be a company just for selling TVs, mobile phones. But one day, this man, Ken Kutaragi, came and said, okay, why not produce games? And there were a lot of people against this idea, but he envisioned this. So at that time, 30 years ago, no one thought that games will be such a source of such huge sums of money. So he envisioned this. He imagined a future possibility. He visualized it. He predicted that what will happen in the future. So that's what's meant by to envision something. There is also the word maybe, so let's focus on that. So gaming may be one of the most successful careers. So maybe I think that all of you know the word, so it's expressing possibility. So perhaps, possibly, maybe, we are not sure. We are not 100% sure about that. Don't put off till tomorrow what you can do today to put off something, or it's to delay, to postpone it, not to do it now. It's just to say it's for tomorrow. And I don't advise you to put off what you can do now till tomorrow, because you need to do it. Don't delay it. Don't postpone it. You must do it now. So put off is to delay or postpone, not to do it now. Kutaragi was dedicated to creating a masterpiece. The masterpiece here is PlayStation. He's something magic, something very successful. That's a masterpiece. So he was devoted, or he was dedicated to creating. So to be devoted or dedicated means to have a great love for something. He loved this. This man was crazy about gaming, and he envisioned this. He fought for his ideas. He was enthusiastic and tried to convince everybody in the company that it is a successful path, and the company needs to spend money on that division of games. So Ken Kutaragi was devoted, was dedicated to creating. So we've got here the verb to be before devoted or dedicated. So they are synonyms. You can use them alternatively. Plus to do something, was devoted, be dedicated to doing something. And of course, after devoted or dedicated, we need to and verb in the ing form. To be devoted to doing something. Okay, so I'm devoted to teaching via Teams, for example. I am devoted to, or I am dedicated to taking care of my family. So here, devoted, be devoted or be dedicated to doing something. I have prepared some quizzes, but unfortunately, for the sake of time, I've saved this. I will give you the links, or I'll send them to Mrs. Sarah later on, because there are 5 lessons, and we don't have much time to start quizzes for 5 times. It will be time consuming. So this is the first part, the first lesson. We are going to move on to the lesson number 2. Which is prize winners. And please, if you have any questions about the lesson number 1, it's time to ask me. If you have any questions, you can just comment or send a message or ask me. You can also open your mics if you want and ask me if you have anything to ask about the father of PlayStation before we start prize winners. If you have any questions, no problem. I'm all ears. I suppose that it would be a no. Yeah, so I think that I have to move on to the second lesson, which is prize winners. Of course, the whole module is about people who are different, who are not like us. So, I mean, people who are really outstanding. So let's start with a very simple question. Who are prize winners? Who are these people? What are the qualities that they have? Why are they different from us? I mean, I'm not different. They are not different. They're, let's say, being human, or they are different. Their minds are different. They are thinking differently. They are thinking out of the box. So they have got qualities that not a lot of people have. So these are just some examples. So they are imaginative, inventive, ingenious. They are dedicated to their jobs. They do a lot of work. They spend a lot of time in their labs and in their research, reading, doing something. They are genius, innovative. They come up with new things. They are curious. They are always asking questions. They are creative, imaginative. It's just the example, like the example of Ken Kataragi. So he envisioned the success of gaming. At that time, there were few people thinking like him. So he was one of them. So prize winners are not people who never fail, so as the quote says, but people who never quit. So there's persistence here. They are dedicated. So they devote a lot of time to the hard work. So it's not by chance that they win prizes. So this is to show that prize winners are not just people who by chance won Nobel Prize or any other award. So they won that after a lot of work. So these are some qualities of these people. Sometimes people would like to ask questions. Well, hey, why are we awarding these people after all? So why are we doing this? Why are we giving them Nobel Prizes and Golden Globes? What's the point? So these are some reasons or some arguments that you can use to convince those people who ask these questions. So we are awarding these people, we are honoring them because awarding them will make them feel that their work is valued. Because we already said that they spend a lot of time, they are dedicated, they are curious, they sacrifice a lot of things, even their families. So they want to feel that the work is valuable. So when you honor them, this gives value to their work. Again, it's a proof of approval and gratitude. So people will say, it's as if you are saying thank you for the things you did for us. For example, the people who invented the vaccines, the COVID-19 vaccines. So at least we can say thank you. But for people who invented even more important inventions than this, like penicillin, there are so many inventions that revolutionized science and human life itself. So when you award them a prize or when you honor them, it gives them the reason to continue working, even when you succeed, when you are in the class and your teacher gives you extra marks or the administration gives you an award or a prize or something, you feel proud about it. It's the same thing for them. It makes you more, let's say, motivated. This will make other people, I don't mean the people who won the prizes, others, maybe other scientists, doctors that are working at the same fields. This will make them aware that if they do good work, if they work hard, they will be rewarded too. So it's like an encouragement. It's an indirect encouragement for others. So this will help them work more, help them be more dedicated, more devoted to helping or to working on that field. So talking about the awards, there are so many prestigious or famous awards. I selected just 8, so for the sake of time, of course, which I think are the most famous ones. The first one, of course, is the Nobel Prize, and it is the most prestigious one and the most known one. The Booker Prize, the Academy Awards or the Oscars, because a lot of people talk about, they think that they are different. So the Academy Awards are the Oscars. The BAFTA Awards, the Palme d'Or, Pulitzer Prize, the Golden Globes, and the Brit Awards. I think that many of you, especially those who listen to or follow they are fans of famous singers, they know some of the Golden Globes winners or Brit Awards, or like Ed Sheeran and people like that. So they won some prizes like this. So I've got some information about these prizes, because I know that most of the people only know some information about the Nobel Prize, but let's discover some information about the others. I've got flashcards that introduce these some of these famous awards. So the first one is it is known as the Man Booker Prize of Fiction. So it's the Man Booker Prize. It's about fiction, so people who write, and it's Britain's most prestigious literary award. It's handed every year to one author, so people who write novels or things like that, who for their outstanding novels. It was published during the 12 previous the previous 12 months. So each year they find someone who has got the most successful or the bestseller books, and they award them this prize, the Man Booker Award, and it is in Britain. Next one is the Academy Award, or the Oscars, perhaps the most well known as the American cinema. It's the Oscars. It's handed out every year to actors. I think that many of you know this. Actors, directors, producers, and film professionals who worked on the previous year's best films. So this is concerning the Oscars. The BAFTA, these awards handed out by the British Academy of Film. It's the equivalent of Oscars, but it is in Britain. So the Oscars are in the United States. The equivalent, let's say the equivalent, is BAFTA in UK. And they concentrate more on TV shows. Okay, it's not films. So more for TV shows. Films, yes, but it's more for TV shows. So British Academy of Film and Television Arts, the BAFTA, are the UK equivalent of the Emmys. Palme d'Or, so this is the next one. Among film festivals, Cannes is the giant. So here we go back to the word giant. Cannes is the giant, is the most famous one, the biggest one, the number one. The Palme d'Or is its most prestigious prize, and it's the most widely coveted on the festival circuit too. So this is the Palme d'Or. Pulitzer, America's premier prize on journalism. So this is related journalism and literature and musical composition. So this is a Pulitzer Prize. They are awarded in 21 categories. And this is, I think, is one of the most famous ones, which is the Golden Globes. Honoring achievements in film. The Golden Globes are considered the particular sister of the more reserved Academy Awards. So this is the equivalent of Academy Awards. Actors, directors, and other film professionals gather to recognize each other. Golden Globes. Next one, Ed Sheeran. Hi. So this is the Brit Awards 2015. It's launched in 1977. The Brit Awards honor achievements in popular music. They are similar to the Grammy Awards, and many of the artists who won the award are top sellers or best sellers. Ed Sheeran is one of them. Last but not least is the Nobel Prize. This prestigious award is named after Alfred Nobel, who created the dynamite. The first Nobel Prize was presented in 1901, and the number of fields in which it is presented has increased to 6 since. Okay, great. So these are some information about the awards. Let's move on now. Since we are talking about the fields, so Nobel Prize has got so many or different fields, and it is awarded to exceptional people for their outstanding or for their great work in different fields. And these are the 6 fields in which the Nobel Prize is awarded. Physics, the field number 1 is physics. Chemistry, medicine or physiology, literature, economics, and peace. So these are the 6 categories of the Nobel Prize. Okay, let's move on. Some facts about the Nobel Prize. So Mr. Goodenough is the oldest ever winner of the Nobel Prize at the age of 97. So this man won the Nobel Prize at the age of 97, and he is invented the battery of our mobile phones. He is the man who invented the lithium-ion batteries. The youngest Nobel laureate is Malala Yousafzai. I think that you heard about this name. She won the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize at the age of 17. I'm talking about the Nobel Prize facts, so it's not easy to be selected by the committee. So the selection or awarding process is very long, takes years. So for example, for the next year, they are already preparing or meeting on to select who is going to win the next year's Nobel Prize in each one of these 6 fields. So the first thing, you request nominations, you ask for that, then you receive nominations. If they accept you, then there will be a process of evaluation and shortlisting. Then there is reviewing and processing. These processes take months and till the next year. And then finally there is the final selection, and at the end you are awarded with the prize. Some other information: so Marie Curie is the only woman. This woman is the only woman who has been honored twice. She won the Nobel Prize twice. Imagine that, please. It's something very, very important. She won that in 1903 for physics and 1911 in chemistry. Another information about the Nobel Prize: the Peace Prize is the only prize which is not presented in Stockholm. It's presented in Oslo, in the presence of King of Norway, when on December the 10th, which is the anniversary of Alfred Nobel's death. The final information is that the Nobel Prize amount, for example, of 2019 is set at Swedish SEK. It's 9 million per full Nobel Prize. It's a lot of money. So there is a lot of money to get there. So these are just some information about the Nobel Prize, generally speaking. Some vocabulary related to the lesson of prize winners. To award, what's meant by to award? So it's a verb, or to give something to someone as a prize. For example, if you get, I don't know, a thesaurus from the school for being the first of the class, so that's the headmaster awarded you. So you were awarded by the headmaster. He gave you an award, and an award, a noun, is a prize or a reward. It can be also a medal. Talking about laureates. Laureates are the persons who are honored and awarded for outstanding or creative intellectual achievements. So for example, if you are the first of the class, you are not laureate. Thank you very much, you are not laureate. But if you discover a vaccine for, I don't know, for virus, or do something, or you invent something, so we can call you a laureate. So laureate is not a person who is just getting awarded. It's a person who is honored for outstanding or creative intellectual achievement. It's something outstanding, really outstanding. It's really something outstanding. Talking about the next, or moving to the next example. He asked to establish the Nobel Prize, or he refers to Alfred Nobel. He asked to establish the Nobel Prize in his will, because the Nobel Prize was created or established after the death of Alfred Nobel. So what's this will? So as you can see in the picture, will is a written document that says what happens to somebody's properties, the things he has, or his money, after his or her death. So after his death, Alfred Nobel asked to give all his fortune to establish the Nobel Prize. So this is a will. A will is a document, a written document, where a person says, okay, when I die, I want you to give my son, for example, the house, and give my daughter. So that's a will. So it's a document written document. It's an official written document that says what will happen to somebody's property after his or her death. By the way, Alfred Nobel was also an entrepreneur. So what's meant by entrepreneur? What's the difference between entrepreneur and businessman? So an entrepreneur is an innovative business person. So here he's not like the other business persons. They've got their business and they are doing the same thing. He like startups. He creates something new. He sells a new service. So that's what's meant by entrepreneurs. So he's not normal businessman who is just trading in different goods. He has got innovation. He creates new things and sells them, especially ideas. And also goods. He can invent things and sell them. Okay, like Thomas Edison, who invented the electric bulb, and then he was selling that product. So he is an entrepreneur. While someone who is selling bottles, he is not an entrepreneur. He is a businessman because he is selling something that everybody sells. But entrepreneur is selling something exclusive to himself. That's what the difference. So all these people, they are genius. So we are describing them here, genius. We can also use the word genius as a noun. For example, when we say he is genius, so here we are describing him. Sometimes we say the genius invented this. The genius here is used as a noun, so we can use it as an adjective and also as a noun. It's a gifted or talented person who has got special skills or has got outstanding skills. Ingenious now, it's an adjective which describes people who are intelligent and inventive. And here we go back to the title of the module, which is creative, inventive minds. So it's inventive or intelligent people who are different. So these are some other qualities that we can add to the first slide that we started with. Again, here, as you can see in the picture, I think that you remember the picture of this woman if you have attended our note in your pockets. So this is Wahida Tawhida bin Sheikh. So she was so Google here sometimes select famous people. They are not going to select anybody, by the way. Here they are going to select people who really had an impact on human life, or something very they created something or invented something, or they have had a cause to defend. So why is that? Is to pay tribute to a person. So here Google paid tribute to Tawhid ibn Sheikh, the first Arab Muslim doctor, and she's Tunisian, by the way. So this is called paying tribute or praising someone or something. We are expressing our admiration and approval for them for doing something outstanding. Okay, so as if we're saying thank you, in other words. So that's to pay tribute to someone. So when you succeed in the back, inshallah, you can pay tribute to your mother. You have her picture in a story, and you put that on Facebook. So to pay tribute to your mother is to say thank you, mother. You spent a lot of time taking care of me and supporting me. Okay, so Google paid tribute to Tawhid ibn Sheikh, the first Arab Muslim doctor. So to pay tribute is to praise someone for something good they did. It's like saying thank you. Steve Jobs was the founder of Apple. Of course, here are talking about Apple, the corporation. We are talking about the firm. Noun here. So found is the verb, to found something or to establish something. An organization or a company or a group or something of people. So that's the verb. And founder is the person who starts an organization or an institution. So founder. And here we are talking about suffixes, and I think that Mr. Rajay talked a lot about this. Suffixes are very important when it comes to grammar and understanding a text or understanding what to use in a grammar task. So of course, when we're talking about the persons who did something, there are other suffixes like er, teach teacher. So teacher is the person who teaches. Or inventor, the person who invents. Journalist is the person who writes in journalist, or pianist. Okay, then the passive voice. Great. So this is the last part of the grammar related to the lesson. So I think that many of you already know what's meant by the passive voice, but it's good just to remind you to refresh your minds. So the passive voice is grammatical category of the verb. Grammatical category of the verb, we mean by that when we talk about passive voice, we are talking about who is doing the verb. Who is doing the verb? The example here says the radioactivity was discovered by Marie and Pierre Curie. So Marie Curie and Pierre is her husband. By the way, they won the Nobel Prize as a couple, and there were only 3 couples who won the Nobel Prize in its history. One of them is Marie and Pierre Curie. So the radioactivity was discovered by Marie and Pierre Curie. If we are going to divide this sentence and try to understand it, so the radioactivity is the subject, was is the auxiliary of the verb to be, discovered is the past participle. So here, this is the form of the passive voice. It's formed by subject plus auxiliary of the verb to be, which is was here. Discovered, which is the past participle of the verb. Of course, here it depends whether you've got a regular or irregular verb. By here is another word that we add to talk about the agent or the doer. Okay, the doer, the person who did the action. And of course, the auxiliary, if we are going to change the sentence from active to passive, it depends on the it depends whether the verb of the original sentence is in the past or is it present or present perfect. So so that you can conjugate the verb to be. But let's concentrate on the structure. So we've got subject plus the auxiliary of the verb to be. Here it is was discovered, which is the past participle by, and here the doer or the person who did the action, Marie and Pierre Curie. When do we use the passive voice? Well, why are we using passive voice? Why are we complicating things? No, we are not complicating things. We are just using the passive voice when we want to emphasize who is receiving the action. It's to show to the audience or to the people that to whom we are talking who received the action. So this means that the receiver is more important than the doer. So here we are not talking about the doer or who did the action, but the receiver. For example, here, Najib Mahfouz was awarded the Nobel Literature Prize in 1988. We don't care who gave him this prize, but we care about Najib Mahfouz. That's why we are using the passive voice. So here, Najib Mahfouz didn't do the action. He received the action. But the doer is not very important here. The most important thing for us is that he got the prize. That Najib Mahfouz got the prize. That's why we are using the passive voice. So Najib Mahfouz was awarded the Nobel Literature Prize in 1988. So this is the first use. Second, we use it when the agent or the doer is unknown, simply because we don't know who did the action. For example, the prize was stolen during the ceremony. We don't know who stole it. So here we use the simple past. Okay? It's like you go home and you want to find your mobile phones, and then you can't find it. Then you say to your brother or to your sister, my mobile phone is taken. You don't know who took it. Okay, it's not there. See, when the agent is not important, so this is the third use. When the agent is not important, we use the passive voice. Today, great minds are honored. The agent is not important here. We don't care about who is going to honor them. So here we use again the passive voice. These are just some examples, by the way. As you can see here, there is a mark there. These are just some examples. There are other cases where we use the passive voice, but for the sake of time, these are the most important cases where we use the passive voice. Biography here, I'm not going to spend much time here because we are going to devote a session before the exam, the night of the exam, and I think that Ms. and Mr. Karim have already covered this part with good examples, with a lot of examples, so I don't need to cover. It's just about the chronological order, and here I took the example of Albert Einstein to show that when you are designing a biography or writing a biography, always think about chronology and think about how to link things together, the linkers, and of course there are some other tips that we are going to cover the night of the exam. So I'm not going to spend much time on that because, as I said, Mr. Rajay has already covered that. Now, talking about the Nobel Prize, there are a lot of questions that arise around this prize or awarding the prize, because some people say, why there are no limited number of, well, there is a limited number of Africans who win the Nobel Prize. And again, the number of women. What about women? The statistics are really staggering. They are shocking. And who is judging? Who are the judges? Who decides who gets the Nobel Prize? Is it fair? Is there equality between the different candidates? For example, in 2020, 6 men were Nobel Prize winners with no women at all. Is that fair? Doesn't it have relation with the politics? When we talk about politics, you know, sometimes, is it biased or not? To be frank, the answer is not really clear, but we are going to try to find out. So, from these statistics, the Nobel Prize is the subject of continuous criticism regarding the gender gap. Here, the first problem is gender, because the majority, or 90% of Nobel Prize winners are men. So only 10% are women. Only 10% are women, however, while 90% are men. And as you can see, the number is shocking, or the statistics are shocking. For example, in medicine, 204 men and only 12 women. In economics, 80 men and only 1 woman. So you see, the gap is very large. Again, there is an issue of diversity. When we talk about diversity, we talk about Africa, mainly poor countries, third world countries, and European and Americas. Latinos again. So there is a saying that I would like you to concentrate on, which says, more men called John have won Nobels than have Africans. Imagine this. Yes, it's real. More men called John have won Nobels than have Africans. So you can imagine, as you can see here, the statistics, it says that 368 prize winners, Nobel Prize winners, were Americans. 368 were Americans. While Africa, for example, the only country which won the Nobel Prize in Africa has got 10 people from South Africa. So here there are a lot of questions about this. We are not really sure, but the statistics can show for us that it's biased. It's not that fair. There are problems there. There will be always questions about this. Why 90% men won the Nobel Prize and only 10%? Why the majority of Nobel Prize winners are always from Europe and Canada and America, while the minorities don't or have no way to get the Nobel Prize? So here, this is something really to think about, to consider. Okay, I've got a quiz about this. I've prepared the quiz for you. So please take your mobile phones. So it's only 6 questions. It's the only quiz, by the way, because there are 5 lessons. So I said to myself, I've got only one quiz because it's time consuming, so we're only going to use this quiz if possible, Mrs. Sarah. With the quizzes, if possible. I'll give you the code. You know the process, because I think that you've already played a quiz with Mrs. Rajeh, so you know the rules. So the website, I will give you the name of the website just a moment. So you go to this website, this one here, joinmyquiz.com, and you put this code, joinmyquiz.com. I'll try to copy it. And put it in the dialog. So here is the link. You can just click on that link and you put the code. This is the code, okay? On your mobile phones, of course. You're going to use your mobile phones. You enter this website, quizzes, and put the code. Okay?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Bassam. So I repeat the website, joinmyquiz.com. Okay, joinmyquiz.com. Already it is copied, pasted in the chat box. And you have the code.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Rajeh. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
It's the same like Kahoot, okay, but with a different link, that's it. But it's the same thing. Did you get the code, guys? Lina, Iman, Rajeh, Saif, did you get the code? Yeah, welcome. Karim. Good, Karim. You got it. Lina and Saif, what about you? Did you get the link? Join my quiz. You go to this website using your browser, your Chrome browser, that's it. You can use it. And then it will ask you for a code. You put this code. You enter this code, 2363338. That's it. Because Karim has already joined, we can start with only one participant, of course. At least two. Raja is there. Yeah, good. Who is left? Lina and Saif. Why don't you join Lina and Saif? It's easy. This is the code. This is the link. You put this link in the search and you join myquiz.com. Then it will ask you for a code. You put this code 236338.
So I repeat again, the website is joinmyquiz.com. Okay, like we are playing the Kahoot. And then you enter your code to join, which is 236338. It's already in the chat box, okay?
Thank you. Okay, maybe they've got some technical problems or something like that. Yeah, Lena, good. Lena and Saif, good to go. Okay, we're good. So let's start. Let's start. So take your time, concentrate, and enjoy. Yeah, what's the problem here? Why isn't it moving? Where is the podium? Oh, sorry, yes. Okay, so I've got here results. So this is someone joining again. Because if you join now, we've got to wait you for the whole time that you're going to spend answering. Yes, okay. Go, Sarah, go. No problem, wait for you. Just be bit quicker. Yeah, you're going to beat them, I think. Yeah. Good. You're the second now. Yeah. Are you cheating or something like that? Oh, you're the first. We've got two Sarahs here. Which one is the real? Yeah? Okay, good. So we've got the podium. Great. So the first one is Sarah. The second one is Sarah. I don't know who is the second one. And Raja. Okay, so thank you very much. So I'm just going to focus on the questions. We are going to investigate on the who is the first Sarah, who is the second Sarah. So the question number one, no woman has ever won the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, no. They're false. This is false because Marie Curie, at least, is one. Okay, so no woman has ever won the Nobel Peace Prize. Of course, this is false. The next one, Ed Sheeran won the Brit Awards in 2015. And if you concentrate a bit here, you can see it. It's written here, 2015. It's a matter of concentration. Next one, an award means a prize. So you are going to take here all the correct answers: a prize, a present, a medal, an honor. So I think they are all correct. The next one, Marie Curie got the Nobel Prize twice. True, yes, true. She got it twice, 1903, I think, and in 1907 and in 1911. When you get the Nobel Prize, you are a nominee, awardee, laureate. You are a laureate, you are an awardee too, is correct. I think if it is multiple question, I think it's not multiple question. Check the correct answers. The passive voice is not used when the subject does the action. It's not used. So when the subject does the action, or when the doer is unknown, or when the subject receives the action, or in the interrogative. So here we don't use it when the subject does the action. If the subject does the action, of course, so here we don't need the passive voice, we need the active voice. So here it's not used when the doer, when the subject does the action. So that's also, this is for the quiz. But we need after that to find out who is the first Sarah and who is the second one. So we finished now with the presentation related to the lesson number 2, which is prize winners. We are going to move very quickly to the next lesson. Do you hear me first? Because Rajay, do you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Bassam, all clear, yes.
Good. Thank you very much. So the next lesson is, of course, in the module number 3 is women choose to opt out. We are going to find out first what is or why are women opting out. So first, let me explain, because it's a bit, it's very important to understand what's to opt out. To opt out is to quit or to walk away from your job in a company or something like that. It's to quit your job. It's to leave your job or to resign. That's to opt out. So why are women or quitting their jobs in companies? So there are so many reasons, so we are going to focus on them. But before that, let's focus on this quote that will help us try to guess what might be the reasons. It's said by Mike Honda. He says, equal pay isn't just a women's issue. When women get equal pay, their family incomes rise and the whole family benefits. So here maybe you are going to find out why they are quitting their jobs. Why are they opting out? Of course, opt out is the opposite of opt in. Women in companies are opting out or quitting their jobs for many reasons. Chief among them, the most important ones are corporations, firms, or companies fail to meet their professional needs. For example, a woman wants to be a CEO or wants to be the big boss of Sony Corporation, for example. But the company doesn't give her a chance to do that. So she quits. She moves away to another company or to another career path. They are not valued. Women are sometimes not valued and their efforts are not recognized. Whatever they do, when they are doing their jobs compared to men, all the, let's say, gratitude goes to men and women are left. Despite their efforts, they don't get recognized, they don't get valued. Of course, they quit or they opt out because there is no gender equality, because of the problem of gender equality. So here we suffer from this in Tunisia. So women suffer from this all over the world, and in Tunisia, they suffer too. They are less likely to hold key positions. What do you mean by key positions? It means high-ranking skill or high-ranking, let's say, positions like I said, managers, CEOs. They don't get those jobs. They get just clerical jobs or something. They work in offices, or that's a secretary. That's it. But they don't get really big positions or key positions. We're going to focus on this, but there is a phenomenon called the glass ceiling. So I think there is a spelling mistake there. The glass ceiling issue. We are going to explain these. Let's say, don't think that we are going to move on without explaining all this. So the glass ceiling issue and the queen bee syndrome, we are going to go back to these two again and explain them. There is also a lack of opportunity. So glass ceiling means there are problems limiting the professional development, the professional, let's say, women are not allowed to, or they are blocked from moving forward in their professional life. Queen bee syndrome, it's when there is a woman who is the boss. She prefers men over women. When the big boss is a woman, she prefers men. She values the work that the men do, and she's always criticizing the women that work with her. There is also lack of opportunities compared to men. What are the objectives if you quit? Because yes, you've got your reasons to quit. You've got your reasons to opt out. But what are your objectives? What is your plan B if you quit your job? If you work in a big company, you've got a lot of money, and then you are quitting or opting out just because it's not you think that it's not what you are waiting for. It's not the company that will ensure your future. So what is your plan for the future? Are you going to stay at home? No, of course. Women are leaving their jobs. We'll go back to the word giant, in giant corporations, in big corporations and firms too, because they've got an objective to start their own businesses. Things like startups or small companies. So they are not going to stay at home. They are going to start their own business. And they are quitting their jobs to gain more freedom, because if they are out there in their company, they get recognized, and they of course will get even more money. They are going to play the role of an active member in society instead of staying in an office for 18 hours or 15 hours a day, 15 hours a day, sorry, they will not stay there in an office. They are out in the society. They are businesswomen. They are doing something for this society. And that's what will help them shape their own professional life. So they will be in positions of leadership instead of staying being dominated by men. They are going to enjoy their professional life and professional career. But this is a problem, of course, for companies. So what can they do to limit or stop the process of opting out? So because there is a good number of women who are quitting, who are opting out. So what can the companies do to offset or to stop this this problem? So to stop the problem, the companies, or to curb the huge numbers, or to reduce the huge numbers of women leaving their jobs in corporations, the following measures must be taken. What are the measures that the companies must do to reduce the number of women opting out or leaving their jobs? The companies need to develop women's leadership skills. They need to teach them, they give them the skills, because some of them lack. They don't lack these skills. They don't have the skills compared to men. So here we are talking about professional development. They need to develop their leadership skills, how to be a leader, how to lead a group of men, how to control them, how to do this, how to solve a crisis, and things like that. They have also to take measures to promote, to encourage gender equality. They also have to give women the opportunity to hold key positions. They give them the chance to hold important positions in their companies. They also need to value and reward women's effort. If they do efforts, they come up with some profit for the company, and they are successful in the tasks they are doing. They have to be valued and they have to be rewarded. We need also to provide them with more flexibility. Of course, you know that women are sometimes they have got families, and they have got their times where they are pregnant and they give birth to a baby, and they've got, so they need to be more flexible when it comes to those to schedules and to timetables. They give also a chance to women to be more visible, and we mean being more visible. If she does something good, the company should invite her and try to show to the other companies and to the people, to the staff there, that this woman did so and so and so. So she needs to be more visible. She needs to get recognized in front of the others. And also when it comes to the to meetings between companies, women should be always in the first lines, because sometimes they go there, they do a lot of work, but they are not visible. It's only the man who is always there in the meetings. I think here that I need to, I don't know why, yeah, good. Sorry about that. Okay, the glass ceiling. Okay, so I said that I'm going to go back to the topic of glass. Yeah, by opening out solutions. Good. The glass ceiling. So we are going to explain what's meant by a glass ceiling. As you can see in the picture, glass ceiling is a metaphor. It's not, of course, it's like an idiom or a metaphor or something like that, that describes the situation of women where there is an invisible barrier. There is an invisible barrier where they can't move. It prevents them from rising behind a certain level. You can see the woman here, she wants to go up, but there is a glass ceiling. There is, it blocks her. The metaphor also was first used by feminists to refer to these barriers in the careers of women who want to achieve high ranks or higher, let's say, positions. The glass ceiling is a barrier that averts women from moving. It stops them to the apex of the hierarchy, to the top of the hierarchy. In the organization, these women are not given promotions. And when we talk about promotions, we talk about a career ladder. And when we talk about career ladder, of course, men are more favored, have got more chances to get promoted than women. And of course, they are refrained. This stops them from moving up in the executive ranking. And of course, they can't get high positions. In the previous 2 decades, the women who have become more involved and pertinent in industries and organizations have rarely been in the executive ranks, despite that they do a lot of work, despite that they are successful, but we can't find them in executive ranks. We can't find them as big bosses in their companies. Women in most organizations from less than 5% form less than 5%, so only 5% of the board of directors, means the managers and C-suite leaders. So here leaders are, let's say, the staff that takes decisions in a given company. So only 5% of that is for women, and 95% are men. So this is a glass ceiling. So all these things are blocking women from going higher in her career ladder. And of course, this phenomenon is called the glass ceiling. How to break the glass ceiling? How to overcome this problem? How to go beyond the glass ceiling? The companies have to conduct blind screening. What does it mean, blind screening? This means that they need to, when selecting, for example, people for the job, or when they are looking for a profile, they don't consider whether it is a male or female. They don't have to look whether this is a man or a woman. So this will help a lot to promote or give women more chances to get promoted or get higher jobs. Because sometimes when they are looking for a CEO for a big company, they will think, is it a man or a woman? So the first question. And then they will look for the CV and the things that he have. Okay, but the blind screening, or when they don't give much importance to the gender, here the women are given more chances to get those key positions. They need also to implement regular bias and stereotype training, because they need to train the staff, the group of people that work there, to be bias-free and to forget about all those stereotypes that say women can't do this. And of course, this requires a lot of time. So they need to train the staff not to think in a biased way about women. So they need also to set diversity hiring and promoting goals. Of course, when they are hiring, even when they are hiring people to work with them, they don't have to think whether they are, of course, male or female, and of course when it is related to promotion. They also need to establish an anti-discrimination and sexual harassment policies. So the policies in the company need to be bias-free. They need to fight sexual harassment and discrimination based on gender. So all these measures will help women break the glass ceiling. So when we talk about opting out, we mean by that women are going to leave their jobs, but they are going to start their own business. And opting out here is luxury. It's not accessible for everybody. What I mean by that is that it's not all the women can opt out. Only those the only women who can do this are those who have high earnings, who get high wages, who have got savings, or who have got wealthy partners. Their husband, for example, has got a company, so when she quits, she can go to work there. Or when she has got a lot of money, when she opts out, so she resigns from her job, she can start her own business. But what if that woman doesn't have money? So if she quits, she will be jobless woman. So that's why opting out is not for everybody. It's only for the women who have got high pay, their salaries are very high, or they've got a wealthy partner. The others cannot do this, because if they leave their jobs, they will starve. They will go back home penniless. But these women can do that because they can, from the next day, start their own business and start working in another company. So in other words, our women can leave their jobs and start their own business, which requires large sums of money and the capability to manage and lead. And this is not for all women. If the pay is high, if you have got a wealthy partner, you can opt out. If not, if you opt out, if you quit, you cannot start your own business. You will be jobless. So it's not something that every woman can do. Many women who opt out end up out of the economic system and end up in a vicious circle of disappointment and doubt. So if the women here opt out for one reason or another, for harassment, for lack of professional development, for the sake of a freedom, she needs to think twice here. If she has got a high pay and a high salary and she has got money saved, she can start her own business. But if she doesn't, if she is just a person who works in an office and relies on her salary to live, of course she will end up disappointed, and maybe this will affect her whole life. So it's not. That's why opting out is not is a luxury. It's not for everybody. It's not for all women can opt out, can react that way. Vocabulary related. So I go back here to the words that or to the expressions we went through. So the queen bee syndrome. So this is when a situation when high-ranking women, for example, the woman is the boss. It's not a man. The woman is the boss. And she treats the other women in the same company, okay, more critically than the males. So if she has got male and female, group of male and female staff, she will always criticize the females, and she will not, let's say, consider criticizing the men. So this is called the queen bee syndrome. So when the women in key positions are always criticizing or always annoying, let's say, the other women in the company, but they don't do that with men. So here, that's one of the reasons why some women choose to opt out. There is also something called bamboo ceiling. These are all structures or words or expressions related to the topic of opting out. Bamboo ceiling refers to the process and barriers and that serve to exclude Asian and Asian Americans from executive positions. So here, bamboo ceiling is the same like glass ceiling, but it's a glass ceiling for Asians. For Asians, women coming from I don't know, Indonesia, places like that, they are discriminated against because of their ethnicity. That's called the bamboo ceiling, on the basis of subjective factors such as lack of leadership. So the most important argument managers use is that, hey, you can't lead this group. You are not good for leadership. You are not a leader. You don't have the skills for leadership. That's why, to fight the glass ceiling, one of the most important ways is to learn the skills of leadership. There is also the maternal wall. The maternal wall, as the name suggests, it's related to the time where women are pregnant and they've got children, and they take that leave, or they take that period of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months And here, a lot of companies they don't want to hire working mothers, and they don't want them to get key positions. At least when they hire them, they don't put them in the key positions for this reason. Okay, and of course, this is limiting the chances of women to get a high ranking. Concrete ceiling is the same like glass ceiling, but it's even worse. It's for African Americans now. African American women who it is based on their color of their skin. They are discriminated against because not only the glass ceiling, but also for their skin color. So these are some key, let's say, expressions that you need to remember. I don't know why it doesn't move. Okay. I think that I'm going to do something. Okay. Because it's not full screen, that's why. Yeah. It's better. Sorry for that. Okay. We move to the vocab now. To hold someone accountable for something. It's to consider that someone, it's an idiomatic expression that means to consider someone responsible for something. Okay, for example, the women are held accountable for the problems that happen in the company. So this means that they put all the responsibility on them. So to consider someone responsible for something, to hold someone accountable for something, accountable means he is responsible for something. And of course, it's always something negative. It's not positive. And this is an idiomatic expression. Men are promoted and valued at the expense of women. So that's what we saw now. We said that men get promoted very quickly, while women are refrained and they are blocked in their career ladder. So, what does it mean to do something at the expense of someone? This means that you are doing this and harming someone else. For example, here, when men are promoted at the expense of women, so this means that the promotion of men will harm women at the expense. Okay, so do something that will harm someone else. So men are promoted and valued at the expense of women. So this means that the promotion of men is harming women. It stops them and refrains them and limits their chances to get key positions. Women are harmed as a result of men's promotion. That's it. Recognition now, the word recognition. So if you are given recognition, to give someone recognition, it means that people show admiration and respect for your achievements. So this is what is not happening for women. They do the good things, they do extraordinary things, they are the number one, but they get no recognition. No one recognizes their efforts, no one recognizes what they are doing. So here, to recognize someone or to give someone recognition is to show admiration, to respect him for what is he or she doing. Here, I think that I put this here because of the space. We are going to move to the grammar. Let's start first with the subjunctive. The subjunctive is used to. We are going to start first with the form, then we are going to move back to the use. So the form of the subjunctive is simple. If you want to put a sentence in the subjunctive, it's very easy, as the example here. The manager suggests that they take more measures. So we've got here that clause, and we've got the verb take, suggest that to take more measures. So the form is the subjunctive is extremely simple. So all you have to is all verbs and persons have got the same form. It's the base form of the verb. So here I think that we need to change this example. So the manager suggests that they suggests to take more measures. So it's the base form of the verb. We use it when do we use it? So we use it also with verbs like advise, ask, command, demand, desire, insist, order. So all these verbs we can use with them the subjunctive with that, of course, that clause, think that, suggest that, and it is a base form with all verbs. That's why it's called impersonal. We use it mainly to talk about events that are not certain to happen, when we are not certain whether something is going to happen or not. So we use the subjunctive. For example, we use the subjunctive when we talk about events that somebody wants to happen or anticipates or imagines that are going to happen. So that's all about the subjunctive. Let's go back to the word leadership. We've got here the word leadership is made up of two parts. We've got the root, the word itself, which is leader, which is a noun, plus ship, which is a suffix. And of course, this is a noun again. Leadership is a noun, leader is a noun. But we added the ship here. There are other examples like membership, citizenship, friendship, and fellowship. So these are other examples. So member, membership, citizen, citizenship, friend, friendship, fellow, fellowship. So it's the noun plus ship, noun plus ship, which is a suffix. It gives a noun again. Good. That's it. As I said, if there are any questions, of course, I will be here to answer. So this is all for the women choose to opt out lesson. We'll move on to the brain drain. We are left only with two. Okay, we'll start first as we have always started. We'll start first with the quote. It's time to end the brain drain and move to brain gain. It's time for a great mind of Nigeria to return home. You're the mind we need, doctor. So here it's the Prime Minister of Nigeria talking about brain drain. As you can see, we can notice that there are the use of two words here, brain gain and brain drain. We are going to move to focus on that again. And we are talking about great minds and doctors. So these are some key words related to the brain drain topic. So what is brain drain? It's the departure of educated or professional people from one country or from one economic sector or field for another, usually, of course, for better pay or living conditions. Of course, here we are talking about professionals. We are talking about very highly skilled workers. And this word refers to the category of professionals rather than skilled laborers. We are talking about doctors, engineers, and lawyers. It's not just labor. The term brain drain was used for the first time in UK in the 1960s to talk about the flow of European and British immigrants to the US. So it's movement of big number of people, usually highly skilled workers or highly skilled or professionals or minds, if you want, from one place to another. So I'll start from our Tunisian context. I took the example of Olfa Hamdi. I think that some of you know her. So she worked here in Tunisia as the CEO of Tunisair. She works in the United States. She has got two companies, I think. She's CEO of a consultancy company in the United States of America. She says, I left Tunisia in 2012 and went to the US to pursue my studies and get better professional opportunities. So here is, when she's saying this, we can find in her, let's say, words, some keys to the push factors or some keys to the that push people to think about immigrating to another country, which is pursuing studies and professional opportunities. Of course, she moved from Tunisia, which is a poor developing country, to the United States of America, which is a developed industrial country. And of course, from the pictures, we can think about some reasons why she left. Inequality, jobs. We are going to focus on that. And in the United States, you can see that there are some pictures of money and computers, or maybe technology, university. So these are some of the ideas that we can use to talk about the push factors that really push people to move from there, to leave their countries and go to another country. So push factor is a geography term. So here it's used in geography mainly. It is used to describe the factors that influence people and motivate them to leave their countries or their region. So I try to find some push factors. So as you can see from the picture, it pushes people to go. So they don't want to go, but they are pushed, okay, because these problems motivate them to leave their countries. Underemployment is the number one. Economic underdevelopment. So when the economy is not that good, low wages or salaries. Yes, they've got the job, but the salary is really, really low. Again, political instability is another problem. Lack of research and other facilities. If you are a scientist and you want to conduct your research, sometimes in poor countries like Tunisia, you don't find laboratories, or you don't find the technology that you need. Lack of freedom. There are some countries where you are not free, you are persecuted. The desire for a better life. If you want a better life, you can think again of moving. Desire for higher qualification and recognition. You go to study in Cambridge or in Oxford or in Harvard. So here it's tempting. Better career expectations. So you want a better career. You want to conduct professional development or trainings outside your country. Lack of satisfactory working conditions. When the working conditions in your company, in your country, are not that good. When there is also a low rate of economic growth. Technologically poor and an importer of technology. Of course, when you are importer of technology and you are poor, your technology, you will always be lagging behind. Your technology is not that advanced. So here, problem of technology again. So these are some of the push factors. On the other side, in the United States, of course, there are pull factors. There are things that attract people to leave their country and to come to your country. It's the opposite of push factor, of course. These are always positive things. Push factors are always negative things. Pull factors are positive things on the other side. So better economic prospects, higher salaries and income, better level of living and way of life, better research facilities and laboratories, modern educational system and better chance of advancement, better working conditions and better employment opportunities, political stability, presence of rich scientific and cultural tradition. So all these are attractive things when you are a doctor or an engineer or a judge or something like that. So you are professional, you're highly skilled, you're looking for something different, something really attractive that doesn't exist in your country. Availability of experience and supporting staff, of course, staff, we mean by that the trainings that they provide you with. Technological gap, of course, because of the technological gap, when you see that technology is available out there, of course, you will run for it. And the prestigious professional training, which is, again, something that highly skilled or professionals look for in the developed countries. Good. When we talk about a brain drain, there are, of course, results. It affects a lot the countries, the developing countries, of course, the countries where the professionals leave. So this means that there is a lot of skills, loss of ideas and innovation, loss of nations' investment in education, because people will stay here, and then when they are start to produce and they are in their top performance, they will leave the country, and it's a loss, loss again of tax revenues. But most importantly, there is a decline of competitiveness. The countries also, there will be shortage in some skills, like doctors. In some countries there are shortage of doctors, so problem there. There will be economic, of course, problems related to this. Economy will suffer because of this, because a lot of people are leaving, and of course people will think that the heaven is out there, it's not in their country. So this will affect the society itself, and they will think of leaving their country rather than staying in it. And of course, all this will lead to lower growth. And of course, it will be a vicious circle. Since there is a lower growth, there will be more and more brain drain and more of professionals thinking about leaving the country. So these are some examples of the problems related to problems that happen because of brain drain. So how can the countries fight back? How can they find solution? How can they limit or block the migration? So to fight back, some countries try to stop or to limit or to curb the rates of the brain drain, but some other people think it's not the solution. That's not the solution, because first, it's unfair to limit professional opportunities. It's unfair to block people from moving. It's like discrimination. Why you are trespassing my freedom? I want to move, and you are blocking me here. So some people say it's unfair. The poor countries will also miss the positive effects, because it's not always negative when there is brain drain. There are also some positive things that we are going to see later on. So the countries will miss the positive effects by blocking the mobility. If you block mobility, it means you don't allow people to move to other countries. There will be problems. You will miss a lot of benefits from that brain drain. There is no evidence that there is nothing that proves that if you keep people from traveling, there will be positive. It will positively affect the development. It's like theory. It's not real. Really, there is no proof that if you block people or limit the brain drain or try to stop the brain drain, you will have better economy. So the question here is, so what's the solution? How to deal with the brain drain then? So the countries affected by brain drain, mainly the developing countries, must find solutions to larger issues and try to find why these professionals leave at the first place. Why are they leaving? So now we are going to find out how can they reduce the impact of the brain drain, because we are not going to leave the problem. We are going to find out how to limit the brain drain. They can create better opportunities for professionals, like professional development, like trainings, education. So here they need to work on that. So this is the real problem. So we need to solve this problem at first. They need also to work on fair salaries according to their skills, to their knowledge, and to their experience. So here we are talking about fairness. Better education and research infrastructure. If you provide the professionals with better education and better research infrastructure, so they will be satisfied and they will not think of leaving the country. Increase the standards of healthcare and insurance and quality of life. So if you boost the standards, of course, they will not think again of moving to another country. Provide more employment opportunities and improve the working conditions. So all these can really solve the problem. But if you block people, you are not solving the problem. So as we said a few minutes ago. So that's the question. Shall we stop it? So the question is that, shall we stop the brain drain? if there are some people that say brain drain is not negative, there are some positive things about brain drain. It's not that bad after all. The word brain drain itself has negative connotations. When I say drain, it is negative. Brain drain has only negative effects, but this is not totally true, because statistics show that there are some benefits from a brain drain. For example, the countries or the poor countries can benefit from technology transfer. How is that? When the professionals leave the country and they go back again, so of course they will transfer with them. There will be okay, good. So technology transfer, so they will bring with them, bring back when they start their startups or start their projects. Of course, there will be technology transfer. There will be also an increase of innovation, because if they go back to their countries, again, of course, they will come up with some innovative ideas. It creates, during the brain drain, while they are out, there will be trade networks between them and their country, because they are going to send money and get, and maybe they will get their projects, maybe they will get their connections there in the other countries. It also, and this will boost the local economy. They will also bring with them investments, and of course, most importantly, transfer knowledge. Okay, and I will go back here to the example of Orfa Hamdi, where she brings back all her knowledge about companies and how to manage companies to Tunis here, and she wanted to implement all those ideas that she studied and that she got from France and the United States and the United Kingdom to Tunisia, but unfortunately there were some problems that she didn't find the support here for one reason or another. But the knowledge transfer is there. They will transfer the knowledge that they've got. And this is, again, what leads us to talk about reverse brain drain. And this is what we call reverse brain drain. It means instead of after going to the developed countries, some groups or some countries are now witnessing waves of reverse brain drain. This means that skills and professionals are going back to their original countries. So, they move from developed countries to less developed countries. And here I took the example of China and India. They are perfect examples of countries that benefited a lot from the process of reverse brain drain. For example, here Chinese companies like Huawei, like VK, that work on AI, artificial intelligence field, brought the knowledge they gained from the Silicon Valley in the United States in the 1990s and the early 2000s, from the United States in companies like Microsoft and IBM to China, to Chinese startups, small companies that are booming now there, and they are using the knowledge on all the investments they got from the years they spent in the United States in the Silicon Valley. So now they are CEOs of small startups, and they are taking advantage of that. And of course, China is encouraging this because they are taking advantage from the reverse brain drain. They are bringing money, they are bringing knowledge, they are bringing technology, they are bringing ideas and innovation to China. And of course, that's why the economy of China is booming, and India is the same. This is again another benefit of reverse brain drain. So we'll go back to the word drain. So the drain, it's the verb to make somebody or something weaker or poorer, like a battery of a mobile phone. It drains. It's not. It has got only, for example, 5% of charge. Someone is drained. You can say, I'm drained. I'm tired. The Tunisian economy is totally drained. It's weak. It's poor. The other idiom here is gather pace. What does it mean to gather pace? It's to happen quickly. As you can see, the numbers are moving quickly. To happen, for example, the number of people or the percentage of brain drain is gathering pace. It means it is going fast. It's happening quickly. It's accelerating. Accelerate, to gather pace, to accelerate. It's an idiomatic expression. There is a shortage in the number of doctors because they are moving to other countries. Shortage means lack, something needed. There are only few doctors left, so something needed cannot be obtained in sufficient amounts. So there are a lot of people, but only, for example, 100 doctors for 3 million of people. So this is a shortage. So the number is very limited, insufficient. A key position can be managerial key position. So we talked about that a few minutes ago in the lesson of Optinet. Key position is managerial position or high position, high specialized, like a CEO or the manager or a boss. So that's called the key position. Brain drain is contentious topic. Contentious is causing or likely to cause disagreement. So we don't agree about that. I think that Mr. Rajay has already covered this. It's controversial. It's an issue. We don't. There is no compromise about this. So contentious, causing argument, and people are for and against. Incentive. What does mean? What does mean incentive? So these are the things that the governments can offer to professionals or highly skilled people to encourage them to not to leave. So that's called an incentive. It's to encourage them not to do something. Something that motivates or encourages someone to do something. So stay here and we will give you, for example, higher pay or better working conditions. So all these are incentives that the countries can use to limit or to reduce the impact of brain drain. We will end up with some vocabulary, some words. So here, forms like migrate. So here, I'm concentrating on it's related to grammar here mainly. Words like immigrate, immigration, economy, development, improvement, work, knowledge, freedom, wealthy, wealth. Paid says the same, encourage, encouragement, and ability. Collocations here are very important. So here, what does it mean to feel homesick? It means that you miss your hometown, your home country. When you travel and you stay for 10 or 20 years, you miss Tunisia. So that's called to feel homesick. It means you want to go back to your home country. That's to feel a feeling of homesick. So brain drain. High salaries, low income means the money that you get or the salary, tempting salaries, tempting attractive salaries. For example, in Qatar, the salaries are really tempting. So if you are a doctor and you hear about your colleagues getting much more money than you, so it's tempting, it's attractive. Skilled workers, professionals, developed countries, and attract attention. Of course, you know this word. So I think that this is the end of the lesson brain drain. Of course, the quiz, I will send you links because of time. So we finished. We are only left with one lesson, which is the scientist. It's the shortest one. It will not take much time. So this is the last one. Scientist in module 3, of course. Last one, the module number 3, scientist achievements. Science knows no country because knowledge belongs to humanity and is the torch which illuminates the world. This is Louis Pasteur. In the lesson of scientific achievements, it's really dealing with some scientific discoveries or great scientific achievements that happened in the recent years or in human history. So, for example, the invention of the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell in 1976. Jonathan Friedrich discovered the DNA in 1860. The invention of penicillin by Alexander Fleming in 1928. Thomas Edison invented the electric bulb in 1879. And the last one, the COVID-19 vaccine discovered by Pfizer Laboratories. So these are some of the achievements, means the exceptional achievements that scientists have discovered or invented. How can we describe them? It's like the inventive, because we are talking about inventive, creative minds. So they are creative, they are passionate, they are intelligent, they are determined, motivated, enthusiastic. Sometimes they are funny. They are leaders. They've got that sense of leadership. They are smart. They are driven by their instinct. They are driven by their passion to accomplish things. And of course, they are witty. They are of course different from us, because we are talking about people with exceptional minds. We are focused mainly on the vocabulary here. Steve Jobs has 5 inventions, but the most important one is the iPhone. So Steve Jobs is inventive, IVE. We are going back to the suffixes here. It's an adjective to describe Steve Jobs. So he is the inventor. Steve Jobs is the inventor. OR, inventor. So this means the person who invented something. To invent, of course, is the verb, and the iPhone is the invention. Invention is the invention. Good. What does it mean, invention? It's something that has never been made before. And of course, this is different from a discovery, which is in the second example. John Friedrich Metzer discovered the DNA in 1860. He didn't invent the DNA. The DNA already exists in our bodies, in any creature. But he just discovered. To discover is to find information or a place or an object or something for the first time. And of course, the noun is discovery. And there is a very famous American mission to the moon called the Discovery ship. Scientist. A scientist is an expert, and here when we talk about scientists, not always science, by the way. Scientist is an expert who studies or works in one of the sciences. So because many of you, when you say science, they think it's only related to studying animals and vegetation. And no. A scientist is a person who works in one of the sciences. It can be physics, can be chemistry, can be biology, computers. So all these are sciences. So they are all scientists. On March the 7th, 1876, the Patent Office awarded Bell what is said to be one of the most valuable patents in history. And here Bell, we mean Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone in 1876. So he was given, or he was awarded a patent. And the patent here is the Patent Office is the office or an office in the government who gives people patents. But what are patents? Patents is this document. It's this document which gives the official right to make or sell an invention for a particular number of years. For example, if you invent something new, of course, you will take it to the patent office, and in the patent office, they will study, they will make their research, they will approve it, and then they will give you this official document as the owner of that particular invention. For example, Alexander Graham Bell has got the patent for inventing the telephone. We've reached the end of the road with the invention of the optical fibers. Optical fibers is the latest type of cables to connect the internet. So here, to reach the end of the road, It's an idiom that means that there will be no further progress. It's the top. There is no more technology that can overcome the optical fibers. That's the end of the road. It's the best. It's the top. Nothing can be done this. To have or to get the credit for doing something is to receive praise or admiration or acknowledgement for something that you did, for an achievement, for an accomplishment. For example, Pfizer labs have the credit for inventing the vaccine. There is a spelling mistake here. Pfizer labs have the credit for inventing the vaccine. So this means that we need to acknowledge and to thank them and to praise them and to admire them for doing this. To have the credit or get the credit for doing something means that thank you for doing this. Grammar, which is the last part. The scientists who invented the steam engine is James Watt. The scientist who invented the first steam engine is James Watt. So who here is a relative pronoun? And there are other relative pronouns like that, which, whom, and whose. So these are the different relative pronouns. Let's go to the second sentence, then I'm going to compare between them. Alexander Graham Bell, who invented the telephone, died in 1922. So if we have a look at the underlined part, which is the relative clause, and we compare both of them. As you can see in the example number 1, I've deleted the relative clause and try to read the sentence without it. And I will do the same thing with the first one. Let's start with the first one. The scientist is James Watt. So here, if you read the sentence without the relative clause, there is a bit of ambiguity here. The scientist is James Watt. What scientist? So if you say that scientist is James Watt, it's not clear. There are questions. But so this means if you remove the relative clause, you cannot understand the sentence. You cannot fully understand the sentence. So it is essential. That's why it's called relative clause, and it is a restrictive relative clause. It's not only a relative clause, but restrictive. It's an essential defining a relative clause. Yet, in the example number 2, Alexander Graham Bell died in 1922. Everything is okay. I can understand this sentence. So this means that the relative clause, which is between commas here, between commas, as you can see, if the punctuation is, if the relative clause is between commas, it's clear, it's obvious that it is non-restrictive relative clause. It's not essential to understand the whole sentence or to fully understand the sentence. So the relative clause is optional, not essential to understand the sentence. So we've got two types here of relative clause. Restrictive relative clause, which is essential to understand the sentence. We cannot remove it. If we remove it, the sentence will be, we cannot understand it, or we cannot fully understand the sentence. There will be some ambiguities. And the non-restrictive relative clause is a relative clause that is optional. We can remove it, and we can read the sentence without that relative clause, and we can fully understand the sentence. So that's the main difference. That's it. Thank you very much. I don't know whether there will be some time to. Yes, Mr. Raja, Ms. Sarah, I finished.
Oui, سي بسام.
Yeah.
يعطيك الف صحة.
عايشك.
يعطيك الصحة الحصيلة مدة طويلة وانت تتكلم مجهود.
عادي تعودت.